Then you go with thermostat.
Yep. So go thermostat, turn it on. Figure out if it's a outdoor issue or indoor issue. Obviously, you take a look at the unit at that point. Let's say the issue's outside. Look at it. Look through everything. You'd be surprised how many high voltage wires are burned going into the disconnect outside. Look at all that stuff. Yep. It doesn't take that long, but look at everything. If the issue's outside, bring the homeowner out there and say, hey, here's what I found out here. If it's a new homeowner, we've never serviced our house before, what I'll say is, hey, this is the first time we've ever been out to your home. I'm going to take a look at everything that you have here, including the indoor unit, because I don't want you to do these repairs outside and then me find something else that's wrong inside your home for you.
What's the thought process like just to try and plant the seed? I'm here for your best interests. I mean, you are.
Yeah.
But just so you know, hey, I'm being as thorough as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want the homeowner to spend, X amount of money and then me find something else where, the unit needs refrigerant now.
Right.
Well, refrigerant prices are so high to begin with. So it's like, hey, if we have a coil that's leaking upstairs in the attic, why not tell the homeowner that, hey, you have this problem. I don't know how much refrigerant it's going to take until this unit outside is working, even if it is going to work. You have to get those little different seats together to make your laundry list of repairs at that point.
How much are you physically documenting this on paper? Or
It's a great question. Yeah. So, a lot of people go back and forth on what they should do here. Should I do an iPad? Should I do paper? I'm taking a bunch of pictures with my iPad and writing up a final invoice with it. But at that point, the iPad is done. Mm-hmm. Once I have a laundry list of repairs in my head of what needs to happen, I'm writing it on paper for the homeowner so they can see it and process it. And then if they want to talk about replacing at that point, an option is built on another piece of paper for different system options.
Okay. So let's talk. You for full transparency, you showed me one of your sheets. It was very interesting. You really listed out every single thing that was wrong, it seemed like,
correct,
with the system. And at that point, you don't give them options. You just say, hey, this is everything. And the repairs are, and this is what it costs. And then you shut up, right?
That's correct.
And then you're hoping for what from the homeowner?
Well, pretty much every homeowner is going to ask you at that point, well, what does a new one cost?
Right.
Right? I don't tell homeowners to replace units. Mm-hmm. That very rarely comes out of my mouth unless a homeowner just cannot read what we're putting down, right?
Right.
They'll ask, hey, how much is a new one?
Right.
And then at that point, you say, okay, well, let me build you some options. I try and do it in front of the homeowner. That way you're not, pulling some number out of the air at that point.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of stuff inside the homeowner's house with them there, sweating with them at that point is important.
So when you show that list of repairs, you said you took all these pictures. Did you take video or is it really just pictures?
Yeah, so like if the coil's leaking or something like that, you're showing them all the rust on the evaporator coil. If it's leaking, you're not going to see the leak unless it's real bad at that point. Right. But showing them a video of, hey, my leak detector going off in this spot multiple different times is a leak on this coil. So we definitely need to get that addressed.
Okay. As you're showing them, they've got the list in front of them, you're showing them pictures. How do you explain to average Joe what all that means? Like, do you try?
So the homeowner really doesn't care. You kind of got to dumb it down for them a little bit.
Right.
A lot of people give homeowners way too much info on certain stuff. I live by the KISS rule, keep it simple, stupid kind of thing.
Right.
I'll take the homeowner outside, show them, take them up in the attic if they can physically get there at that point. But hey, here's your major stuff that needs to be done. I'm not telling the homeowner, hey, you have to reinsulate your copper lines outside or stuff like that. These are major issues that you found with the system. I'm not hitting them with, little knick-knack type stuff.
But do you explain what those parts do? Or you just say, hey, this is a lot of expensive stuff. Not say it. They can see it.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's all about how you explain it to the homeowner, right? So if the coil's leaking, I don't necessarily say the coil's leaking. I say the coil's busted up in the attic at that point. It's a very important word. When you say busted, the homeowner's like, oh, that sounds bad.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all about how you explain it to the homeowner, showing them the pictures of, a blower motor leaking oil or stuff like that, fan motor dripping oil outside or a condenser coil being completely plugged up, showing them the pictures, but, also if they're able to see it in person is another thing.
Yeah, for sure. If you can see it, it makes it more real.
Because homeowners, nowadays, they're always questioning, well, is that my house? So in a video, like if I'm taking a picture of an evaporator coil, I'm being sure to show the attic excess, or if they're standing right there with them, this is your deal. This is your golf clubs. This is your this is your Marlin upstairs in the attic that's, whatever. Right.
I always forget that in Texas, you guys got to deal with that attic stuff. Where I'm from, it's in basements. It's a little more comfortable.
No, it's 160 degrees up there most of the time.
I want to be sure to point out something that you do on that sheet. Says Baker Brothers on it.
It has our logo, which is great.
But what do you write at the top of it?
So a very important word or very important phrase. One thing that, that picture that you saw you can't tell, but the paper that's written on is very heavy too, which is great. It's not a flimsy piece of paper. It's very heavy cardboard stock, which is nice. But up top it says failed inspection on it. You're out there for a reason. The unit is broke. You go get your car repaired anywhere. They're going to give you a, typically a multi-different colored thing of, hey, here's where everything looks on your car. If it passed inspection or failed inspection, hey, this thing failed inspection for these reasons. We should get that addressed.
Right. All right, so I go, okay, this clear, David, I see all these dollar signs. What's a new one cost?
Yes.
Now you went right into, I like to build the options out from. Do you talk about or ask the homeowner at that point, what are certain things you value more, like energy efficiency or comfort, or I know your system's broken right now, but are there other spots that are hotter than others? You talk through your process at that point.
Yeah, so all the stuff that you're bringing up is very important things to ask a homeowner at that point.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many times a homeowner will buy a unit off of just airflow issues in their home.
Right.
2-speed's going to help out. Variable speed's going to be even better at that point. Humidity issues. We do have a lot of homes that are pure beam in Dallas. So having something that can control humidity on the inside of the home so it doesn't feel as hot and sticky inside there when it's 100% humidity outside kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
do you do a manual heat load calc, or what do you do?
Yeah, so on every job that we install, it is important. It's not code to do it, but it protects us, and it be sure that the unit's going to cool properly when it's 110 degrees outside. Every single summer it feels like it's getting hotter and hotter. So people want to keep their home comfortable when it's so hot outside. So that's another thing, is to ask the homeowner, hey, what do you keep your thermostat at when it's 105 degrees outside?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I keep it at 78, or I keep it at 68. Very important things to do at that point for sizing units, because the BTU output of some air conditioners now is lower than what it was before.
Mm-hmm. Now, as you're doing these measurements and stuff, you have the homeowner along with you?
It's so hot, typically not. Okay. I can do a heat load in about 8 minutes.
Okay.
So we have a real easy process at Baker Brothers for doing that. So it's not a long, drawn-out, computer thing or anything.
I didn't know you use it as additional pour building while you're doing it.
You got to think on a service call type deal like us, the homeowner really just wants their stuff fixed at that point, right?
Yeah.
So on a free estimate or a flip or something like that, it's definitely something that you can use to show the homeowner, hey, you have a 3.5 ton unit now or a 4 ton unit. That's not going to cool on a 105 degree day, with the different standards that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
So here's why we're going to put a bigger system. Here's why we have to run a new copper line or high voltage line or something that goes along with the system at that point.